Hello and welcome to your live Q&A of the Postdoc Transformation Show. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Soei-Winkels, and I'm really happy to see you here all online. And you know, I'm really nervous. So this is going to be my first live on TikTok. Yesterday I had a live on LinkedIn, and so I'm okay, and also I had some Instagram lives, but this is the first time on TikTok. So please support me if you're here. Ask me a lot of questions so that I don't have to just answer, pre-submitted questions, which I gladly will answer. But I think that as soon as you ask your own questions, then you can absolutely, let me know whether you have some more detailed information for me so that I can give you a better answer even though. All right, so welcome to our live Q&A of the Postdoc Transformation Show, Season 1. I had 12 episodes published until mid-April, and I took a longer break for family reasons, but now I'm back on track, and I want you to know that I'm so excited to have so much material up the pipeline for Season 2. And even my students, my real bachelor and master students, are so hooked that they are contemplating or already preparing material for another season of our podcast. So please comment from where you are listening. So on another screen, I will also share from where all over the world I had, according to my Podbean app or stats, listeners from. So for example, Germany, obviously that's my home country, the US, the UK, India, Netherlands, Australia, Ireland, Italy, Sweden, Austria, Switzerland, Canada. So wherever you are at the moment, please let me know so I can, I'm always excited to have more listeners from all over the world. All right, so, but without further ado, I want to ask you to comment your questions regarding your career transition right after the PhD or the postdoc, because that's where I'm the expert in. But obviously you can also ask me a lot of other questions because I'm a professor. I'm a seasoned professor for industrial and occupational psychology since 2014. That kind of ages me. So let me know whether you have questions in that regard. Okay, so if you are interested, the replay of that will be for 90 days available on TikTok, but also on YouTube, because I'm recording in parallel. And so, yeah, what will we do? You should submit your questions. But if you are new to me, to us, I'm Soei-Winkels. Like I said, I have a PhD in neuroscience. Before that, I was a psychologist. I'm a certified coach for leadership and management, but I'm also a professor, like I said. In between my academic roles, I've been an IT strategy consultant at Accenture, and that will also help me to answer one of the questions that were pre-submitted to me. Let's see whether we can tie that in. All right, good. Pre-submitted question number 1. What are the key skills and experiences that early career scientists can leverage when transition into the business world? All right, so leverage, I would always, say transfer and contribute. Leverage is also a great word, but essentially it's about contributions and helping the companies that employ you to get the results that they need, and these are always business objectives, right? So whatever you try to achieve with your skills and experience, you should always contribute to their success, and that makes you successful in the business world. But what are key skills? And I've got a couple of skills that come in my mind when I think of an early career scientist, because I was once one. So for example, I always ask my coaches whether they teach, and most of them say, yeah, I do teach, but what does it have to do with business? Well, a key need in business is leadership, right? So thought leadership, but also people leadership, and teaching, lecturing, leading a group of people to learn something new and to grade them, to mark them, to guide them to become better, and so on, in a way that they are not put off, they are motivated, they are inspired, and everything like that. That is a key skill today. And if you've been doing this online, that is also a very rare capacity or skill, right? Because most of the ones I know aren't really good online. They're really good in presence, but maybe they're not so good in online. And when you think about the on-demand skills for the future of work, then digital leadership is one of these skills that are hot. But anyway, let's talk about people maybe. So people skills, and I want to draw your attention to my podcast episode number 1. It's called Check Your Readiness to Leap Out of Science. And right, the first one aspect is, do you know what your transferable skills are? And that alludes to the key skills and experience that early career scientists can leverage, right? So when we click on that, we see that the skills I have categorized into 3 buckets, so to speak. So data, objects, and people. And we've talked about people skills, right? But also managing projects and convincing your steering committee, convincing your funding committee, and working in research collaborations with interdisciplinary people from all over the world, from all over the country, obviously the same, but all over the disciplines is right. It is rightful and useful also in the business world, right? Okay, but obviously when you are technically adept, or when you are able to work with data like with R or Python, or statistical analysis, something like that, that's always a great skill, because obviously the future of work is very digital, and that's big data analytics and stuff like that, and everything like that is always supported by data literacy. All right, good. I hope that first question has been answered. If you are listening and this is your question, please let me know in the chat or in the comments so that I can hone in if you have further questions. But now let's go to number 2, which would be, well, pre-submitted question number 2. How can I assess whether a career in business is the right fit for my interests and aspirations as an early career scientist? Well, if you've never been in business, that's a huge question. I agree. And what I did when I leaped into business, 2007, so I'm really old. That means I read a lot of, business magazines, business daily papers, newspapers, and everything like that. So just to get acquainted with the language in business. And the other thing is that because that was not there at that time, I would today use social media, and especially the professional networking app LinkedIn. I'm not an affiliate for that. And I also have a free account at LinkedIn, but still I'm an avid creator on LinkedIn, because for the following reasons. I need content for my students that I may not bring to the table, but they need. So I can connect with people in business, maybe beyond my expertise. So my expertise is clearly IT strategy and business, and not so much HR. But remember, I'm a psychologist, and my students are studying industrial and occupational psychology with me. That means I have to deliver new content that is contemporary, in the sense of not theoretical, but rather practical, the business needs of today, and not from the textbook. And that's all the things that I get from LinkedIn. And that's why I'm saying, if you know the right people, if you follow the right people, you will get a lot of insights that will help you to understand and to discern whether you want to work in that industry, in that area, in that business, with those kind of people, not with that person specifically, but with these kind of people, so that you can then, whether it's worth it or not. And I can only recommend and invite you to listen to my podcast, Postdoc Transformation Show, because I also have a form where you can submit an employer that is really interesting for you and attractive for you, so that I can ask them questions that they wouldn't necessarily answer for everyone. and I would share that also on the show so that you can then decide whether you want to apply or not, right? Okay, so I hope that this is a good answer for you. So I would hop on LinkedIn and try. I mean, obviously you need to create your own profile, but once that is done, you should also find out and research about the people who are worth following, who are worth following, so that you can, learn a lot of their industry, like social learning, so to speak. All right, so question number 3. What are some common challenges and barriers faced by early career scientists when making a transition into the business world? All right, so at least from what I see, from 3 perspectives, my own perspective, which was full of misconceptions and prejudices, and the other one is from someone who has been also, onboarding new early career scientists into the business world from the business side, and also talking with a lot of people who are managers, supervisors, leaders, who, have a thing to say, right? So my first perspective is the one that I had a lot of misconceptions. I thought that I'd be bored. I'm kind of smart, and how would they be okay with me, and something like that. But it was actually the other way around. I was nerdy, and I had to learn to be not likable, but to be relatable, right? So having a doctor title intimidates people, and if you have that in front of you as an aura, in the sense of like, this is below me, then you're not really allowing and also inviting others to work with you. And everything in the business world is teamwork, and you need to work together with people who are from all walks of life. I learned that an academic degree has nothing to do with intelligence. Whether you can afford to earn your degree is also something that you aren't, sometimes your parents can't allow you to go to the university because they don't have the money to support you, and they have to work, and so you have to work, right? So there are a couple of reasons why intelligent people are not pursuing a PhD or a master's or a bachelor, or maybe that's also a difference in interdisciplinary or so, because sometimes for IT, for example, not so much people are doing a degree in that, because there's plenty of work. You can get work already without a degree, right? So absolutely my misconception, my prejudice, and I think that once you realize that and say, well, I want to work with a lot of people, and I want to be successful in this company, and the only way is together with other people, and I need to change and to be humble. I need to learn. Whatever I bring to the table is probably not what the employer needs. Then we're back in the game, because then we can use our smart processor, our brain, to learn whatever is needed to solve the problems. But it's a personality change. It's a mindset change, because we were trained as specialists, as experts, as someone maybe who is looked up to, and that is absolutely not the case in business. All right, so next question is, or maybe what are other barriers faced by early career scientists? Many people maybe are anxious because of their own imposter syndrome, and maybe even you have some imposter syndrome, and that makes you feel, or that makes you behave in a different way. And I'm just saying that having a degree means that visibly on your tag or whatever doesn't always help, So for the first couple of years, I didn't use my PhD on my title or my title on everything, right? So I go by Eleanor and that's it. And I think that once you've built your reputation on your own right in the business area, then you can obviously use your PhD, and that will also be a door opener later in your journey. But at the beginning, that might be a barrier that you will bring up by yourself when you use your PhD, by introducing yourself as a doctor or whatever. Okay, so next one is question number 4. Are there specific industries or sectors within the business world that value the expertise of early career scientists? Well, I already alluded to it earlier, and actually I have this episode, Future of Work, and I also mentioned it yesterday, but I want to mention it now from a different angle because this is really important. So when I look into the episode number 4, the future of work for new PhD holders, then you'll see the top skills in 2025, which I took from the World Economic Forum, which just got updated. So look out for the new updated episode, which will probably drop in a couple of, maybe in August or so, when the new semester begins. And there are some skills that are confirmed by the new study, which is number 1, analytical thinking and innovation, active learning, learning strategies, complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, leadership and social influence, technology use, monitoring and control. So I think these are all things that most PhDs bring to the table. Maybe there is some, you know, there is a contrast towards the between the PhD in humanities versus the STEMist, but for the STEM, which I identify as STEM, I think that we have all of these 7. And if you are in humanities, you don't even have to have all 7, right, to be successful, because leadership isn't about technology. Right? So if you're leading, you shouldn't be, you know, look into technology design and programming or coding, but instead maybe something like reasoning and ideation or resilience is needed. Okay? So, and the other aspect of this episode particular is that there are 4 skills that people need in the workplace of the future to succeed, right? And that does not apply to PhD students who are, you know, ready to enter the job market in business, but instead it's the challenges that most businesses have to, you know, face. And I think that with the rise of artificial intelligence, this is no surprise. I mean, I've been an IT strategy consultant since 2008 or so. So it was a long coming, right? So number 4 for skills is artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if you are good in R, if you're good in Python, then you know you shouldn't be working as a coder, but you could be working as an architect in IT infrastructure, because you are able to, you know, understand the business objectives and to find a way of how the software, the program interfaces should play together and so in concert, right? So that, I mean, these are roles where you have to understand people, but also the tech people, right? So then cloud computing, which is maybe out of reach, but number 4 and number 5 and number 3 and 4, sorry, are really good, because it's product management and social media. And as a product manager, you are the hub, and all the spokes are like sales and marketing and operations and management and whatever, clients, customer support and whatever. So the project manager or the product manager is the one who pushes forward all the technical requirements, but also non-technical or functional requirements of a product or a service, so to speak. And number 4 is social media. So look into that episode if you want to learn more about that. And well, you know, if you invest your last year of your PhD into developing these hot in-demand skills, then you obviously be much more attractive on the job market. You'll have more earnings and you have more opportunities to thrive and to be promoted. So if I were a young early career scientist, I would definitely go in that direction. All right, so yeah, I think that if you don't have that because you say, oh, well, I did qualitative research, I'm good in interviewing people, so that's great, because people skills, leadership skills are also hot in demand. All right, so just look into this or listen to this episode. I think that will help you a lot. All right, so before I go to question number 5, I'll quickly check the comments whether, I don't know, where do I see them? I don't know. Has anyone commented anything yet? I don't know. All right, let's see. Number 5 is what resources or support systems are available for early career scientists looking to make a career transition into business? Well, I've been in the social media space for years, and I think that obviously once you are a creator, and I collaborate with many PhD career coaches, but I've seen a lot of career coaches focusing on PhDs and postdocs rising over the years. So when I did this 10 years ago, there was almost nothing. I felt like a persona non grata. I didn't feel like, I don't want to unveil that. I was a bit ashamed. I felt like a failure, and a personalized failure, so to speak. And I actually went to someone on campus very far away, so that no one knows that I'm going there to discuss my plans after the PhD, which were not in science, in academia. So I think that's totally different. So when I look into social media like Instagram and TikTok, there are a couple of handles that you can and should follow, and they also give away a lot of free content. But I think that once you can always consume the free content, and I also offer a lot of free content, but you need to also have someone who looks into your CV and digests that with you and discerns what of these kind of information are relevant for your application. And I actually have a great, this is one of the episodes that I'm most excited about, episode number 5, which is dovetails a lot with the future of work for new PhD holders in business. Number 5 is how to use ChatGPT for your job application. And I urge you to listen to this, because that is also, I also share this with my bachelor and master students in real life, and they were like, their minds were blown. And I think that even though I would suspect that early career scientists have already used ChatGPT in their research, why not? You should. Maybe you haven't used that for also your job applications, and I think that you should get your hands on that as well. But resources which I share are, one, I have a free readiness check for your leap into business. You can do this. It's just 15 questions, yes or no, which is also paralleled by the first episode of my podcast, so the PostdocTransformation show. But also I have a free email career transition course. So a free email course, Career Transition Made Simple. Maybe I should practice saying this again. You've got up to 10 emails. They are on demand send only, and that means that once you are ready, you will get the next one. If you are not ready or you're not interested anymore, I'm not going to spam you, because I want your full attention span on the things that I can teach you via email. But this being said, I'm also a career coach at graduate schools all over the world, where I give this e-courses or workshops live, on-site, also online, and I support their career transition, or their early career scientists in their career transitions by rehearsing job interviews, looking into the CVs, fine-tuning them, and also fine-tuning the LinkedIn profile and creating the best posts that make them stand out in the business world based on what they have already brought to the table in their research, but business friendly. So all of that I also teach, but I don't teach that for free. But instead I do this at graduate schools. And if you are interested in getting me at your graduate school, then I will also, compensate you with 50% recurrent sales commissions. So if you want me at your graduate school, you'll get 50% recurrent sales commission, because usually once I get a gig, I get the gig next semester as well, or so once a year at least. All right, so let's see whether I have some comments. Where can I see whether I have comments? Can you help me? I don't know. Do I see some comments? Probably not. I only see some general information. All right, so then I would love to close that, and I hope that you will become a listener of the Postdoc Transformation Show. I want you to invest into your doctorate according to your vision of life. And that means that you are thinking about your career beyond the PhD now. Okay? Study with the end in mind. Bye-bye. My name is Soei-Winkels, and I hope you enjoyed this. Oh, I forgot that I have another question. I'm sorry, I can do this as well. So maybe do this. So pre-submitted question number 6. How can I effectively communicate my scientific background and skills to potential employers in the business sector? Oh, yes. We already talked about LinkedIn and how you can effectively communicate your scientific background and skills is as such. Maybe there are some employers like the biotech companies, the pharmaceutical companies, who are interested in your biotech, chemical, medical, physical, whatever degrees and research. Okay, but essentially, if you are maybe interested in consulting or in the public sector or in whatever in business, in industries, and excluding research and development units, right? Then please always think about the perspective change, right? So always think of, why would that content be interesting for me? Because if it's not, then I won't consume your content. So that means if you want to reach out to business employers, you need to meet them where they are. It's either social media, LinkedIn, or they are at conferences, at business meetups or whatever. So any business networking events. And then when you are there and you meet them, then you need to think about, well, what would they be interested in at the moment? And then it's always not in just the, it's not just in the air, but instead it's always a context. So that means maybe this network event what was the previous presentation? And then maybe you are able to connect this presentation with your research and introduce or open up a great informative conversation, right? So maybe this is something that you can think of. Always connect the dots. And I think that scientists are great to connect the dots. They are able to see emerging patterns and to see whether there is something, of relevance, different to normally, and I don't know, unusual, something like that. And I think that maybe this is some skill that you can use to effectively communicate with your scientific background if it is interesting. Usually, like I said, usually business people aren't really interested in your scientific background, but rather in how can you apply your scientific background to their problems. All right? Good. That's it. I will cut this video and deliver that also as a trimmed version on the podcast so that we don't have this awkward pause. And I don't know, no one has asked anything, I guess, I'm not sure, but we will see in hindsight maybe. Bye-bye.